Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Tonight I want to share with you an extended video that's going to be me, Crypto Llama, and Jim Morgan talking about all things Splinterlands. We're talking about new rewards. We're talking about DC and SPS. We're talking about, oh man, a million different topics. And this is jam-packed. You're not going to want to miss this one. Stick around, stay tuned, like and subscribe. And if you want to be present for these member-only live events that happen Thursday nights, come join my YouTube channel, check out the community tab, pick your favorite tier, get involved, and be present every Thursday night from 8:30 p.m. onward. Okay, guys, have an amazing day. God bless. So we got Jim here, and we also got Crypto Llama hanging out. And Crypto Llama, can you say hello?
Hello, peoples. Dwayne, is it possible at all for me to see your chat, or do I need? I'll probably need to be a member, right?
Yeah, on Discord. No, on Discord, what I'll do is I'll share screen, and then.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
And then nice. You can both. So then I'll close that, and now you should be able to see when I pop out to chat here. Can you see that?
Perfect. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So, hey William, good to see you, buddy. Llama, thanks for coming to hang out tonight. And Jim, you too, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome to be here.
So
I was just thinking, you know, we've done some other things which we can't talk about right now, but it's nice to be able to just talk candidly with you, and you know, not essentially have any time constraints or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just getting into whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did have a couple things that I wanted to talk about today. In particular, I mean, there's so much new that's happening, and I think, you know, the rank, like we just said, the modern versus wild revision launch.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How much of a difference does it make? Just this, like the interface, you know, even just with the blue and the red, sort of the filters or whatever on these wallpapers in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know, just that a simple change like that for me, it's like, oh my god, it's like a new game.
Yeah, it feels like it really refreshed it. You know, like I used to play a lot of Apex Legends, and every season you see like a new wallpaper, and like it's a different vibe, and this is definitely doing that for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
and actually on that point, it'd be cool. It would be kind of cool if they were rotating different images and stuff in the background too, just to freshen it up.
And I haven't been playing yet though. Like I just got a Archmage bot, and I'm letting it run on my alt, and it started in novice, and now we're up in silver 3, and
how much power did you delegate to it?
170,000.
170k.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
that
I might
be able to do you quite well.
I think so. And I think I'm gonna, like, I've got a lot more that I could put here, because I'm kind of feeling like I'm too busy to do like a proper rank grind. And so this is going to be one opportunity for me to get some of that opportunity, get some of that play, like put some of my cards to actual work for, you know, creating assets for me. But I'm also using Splex to rent out my assets. And man, like good amount of DC, like 32,000 DEC 3 days ago, 25 yesterday, 16 today. And
I haven't bothered doing this because I don't have a decent enough deck to be. Obviously, you've been playing for longer than me, and your CP is quite extensive. But yeah, I just don't. I figure that the majority of the cards that I have, I just try and max them out because it's a diamond deck. And I kind of use them, especially if I'm playing Dragon, for instance, and I'm jumping into different, you know, all different splinters. So I haven't really jumped into this yet. What about you, Jim? Are you using this as well and making any decent DEC from it?
No, I haven't used the rent golem yet. I've just been pretty much using all the cards I have and using the Archmage bot.
Right. Okay. So you're making DEC that way anyway.
Yeah. Rather than just renting the stuff out. And I have done it in the past where I was like, well, I'd rather just get the DEC from renting out rather than the chest and all the cards. But I'd also really like to start getting more cards. So
Yeah, the DEC for me is neither here nor there. I just want the actual NFTs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I get any sort of DC, I think to myself, you know, how can I put it to work? Like maybe I'm going to buy in the market and use some of this DEC that I'm accumulating to actually pick up some of these cards, because there's some crazy deals. Like I was looking at the CP to cost ratio last night. Look at this, like 1250 CP to dollar.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's another thing. I'm just going to navigate to it on my screen. But another way to work out, which I was just found out recently too, is on Splex GG. Reward lookup. You can look up the grabbing data. This may take a while, hopefully not too long. I saw this screen when Jim, I heard you mention about it as well. The waiting on data. You won't wait what shouldn't take too long when I was trying to purchase an Archmage token.
Yeah.
The continual screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it shows you the APY rent and over the year and when it will pay itself off.
Yeah.
These cards too. So which is really handy if you're looking to purchase cards to rent them out.
Is that right? Really cool. So Splex will tell you.
Yeah, so if you
go ahead.
If you on your screen, if you go up to accounts and go to SL Expert, and then you can view the cards, view the cards, and it will show you the APY rent, and the SPS. Obviously, that's not going to be much because the airdrop's about to finish, but the combined APY rate and how long it's going to take to pay this off with the current renting prices of that card. Which is kind of cool, just to know, like within a year I'm going to pay this card off, but presumably it will be. There's a lot of things which need to be taken into consideration there, like the price of DEC and all that kind of stuff.
So,
but still kind of nice to know.
I think I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm pretty sure that's how you spell quid or fire.
Let me look at.
And it's not dropping any titles. Is that?
Is it showing any of your cards?
Oh, is this
not showing anything there? So wait, take that out for a sec, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Okay, go to accounts again.
Yeah.
And click on SL Expert.
Yep. Maybe it's because I have two accounts in here, and I didn't know that I had to look at my cards. I thought I would. Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
So
so on the right hand column there, you see the amount of days that it'll take to pay that card off.
That's
in DEC.
That's so wild.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I was looking.
You can kind of work out. You can work out, how long it's going to take you to pay off that card. And
interesting.
And as I mentioned here before, the APY, it says SPS as well. Obviously, that's not going to matter, that column, too much anymore because of the SPS airdrop's about over.
Yeah,
so it combines the APY of what that card's worth in your to your SPS airdrop.
Yeah, interesting. Really cool. I didn't know about this feature. Something I've been noticing just last night, actually, for the first time ever. So I always use Peak Monsters, and you guys might think this is cool. So I use Peak Monsters, obviously, to look for my best deals. And also, I think there's an interesting argument to be had that there might be an opportunity for starting to look at flipping monsters in the near future. And let's go to grid for a second here. And usually what that entails is like looking at the rares. Usually I think rares, sometimes epics, occasionally legendary, but I find it's usually like the lower tier rarities. And then you'll find like a card. Actually, let's look at comments. Yesterday I saw an amazing one that was like, what was it? It was green, and there was a level 2. It was a Rexy. I wonder if it's still there. So yeah, there's this Rexy here with 321 BCX and 344 BCX, and they're roughly 29 cents and 39 cents respectively. But then there was a 172, which is a level 8, that was even cheaper. It was like 28 cents or something. So one of those, like, I feel like there's some opportunities coming because I think there's been more stability in the prices over the last few weeks than we used to see over the last months where, you know, it was such a yo-yo. But I think there might be an interesting play in the next 6 months or a year where you can start to see deals where this is a bit of a floor. And if something comes in that's even cheaper and it has fewer BCX, that can be more marketable, not less. And then I found if it was 28 cents, I thought I could probably relist it for 50, you know, and be in between here, and, you know, have a decent chance of selling. And that's like a 40, like, what is that? Like from 30 cents to 50 cents is like almost double, I guess, is the easiest way I can say it math wise without a calculator.
It's like 60% increase.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, I think those opportunities are coming. And when I was talking to my buddy last night about that, you know, before we move on, because there's something else I want to say, but before we move on, what do you guys think about that suggestion that I just made, which is that I think we might be entering more of a stable card price. I think there's lots of reasons why you might say we're not. Like you could come to me and talk about, probably 5 or 6 different things that might see card prices spike, like land, for instance, coming out soon, and all the farming that's going to need for the cards. But I'm starting to feel like maybe prices are going to be stable here for a bit. Maybe I'll start with you, Llama, and then Jim, get your thoughts on that. What do you think about card prices in like the 6 months to like a year window here?
Okay, so my thoughts on this is to purchase if you're looking at purchasing cards, purchase the DEC now. Purchase the DEC now. The reason why I say that is because in order for this entire system, this new SPS rewards to work, we need to see DEC back at its $1 peg, right? As Matt said, the stable peg is extremely important to the entire ecosystem of Splinterlands, and it doesn't need to be quite like USDT or USDC stable, but way closer than it is now. And so, if we're purchasing the DEC now, to peg right now, we're looking at like a 40% increase on the value of DEC.
Yeah.
From now until peg. Now, if we were purchasing cards right now, then, and I don't mind because I'm only putting money into DEC when I'm looking to purchase cards. But if you're using DEC that you already have in your account right now to purchase Splinterlands cards, then you're essentially missing out on a 40% increase. The card price is going to stay relative anyway within the next few months.
Yeah.
But your DEC is not. So that should be increasing within, from August to September, we should be seeing, around about a 40% increase on DEC.
You think that soon?
So yeah, because that's when they plan to enter the SPS reward system. And for that to happen, we kind of need that DEC closer to its peg. So you're making, within a space of 2 months, you're most likely, and not financial advice, of course,
yeah.
but within that 2 months, you're making, 40% increase on your DEC. Then you're purchasing cards. You're getting a lot more value for that DEC that you're using.
Yeah.
As opposed to purchasing them right now, or just let it sit there. And why not? Not only are you getting that 40%, but we've still got some days left on the airdrop period as well. So that has to be taken into consideration.
That's right. Yeah. There's still 12 days left. So
you're getting 12 days of SPS airdrop, and then you're getting the difference from now until September, or once this new system comes in, where DEC's moving towards peg. This could be maybe 40 to 45% profit over that time, and then purchasing the cards. So you're making more money. You're getting that arbitrage opportunity, plus the airdrop, plus perhaps a decrease in price of cards from, if you're looking at Chaos Legion, once more cards are going into circulation over that time too. And then you're getting a number of different opportunities there rolled into one.
Yeah, that's interesting. So just kind of looking at it from the perspective of the intent to really undergird DEC and what the plan they've laid out there to try and bring it back to peg. And I think you're probably on. That's true. I think that plan is going to be successful. And maybe we could spend more time talking about why, but if it is successful, you're moving like 1 million DEC is about $570 right now. And just moving back to peg would mean it's a $430 increase in your investment. And then in your purchasing power, forget about like, it's not exactly I don't like that word investment with respect to DEC, because shouldn't be going exponential at any point. So like, I don't think of it like that.
It's not though, but still it's still realistically it's still a short-term investment. And this is why I think this is going to have another unassuming effect in that the big Chaos Legion pump that after the airdrop ends that we're all expecting may not happen as largely as we envisage, because now in my mind the smart thing to do would be to hold on to your DEC until it gets closer to peg value. And they're going to completely stop minting DEC. And what happens when something becomes more scarce?
Totally.
Obviously the value increases. And the only way that DEC is ever going to be minted moving forwards is from card burning.
Yeah.
Which will make it far more stable, because
or SPS burning.
There won't be any what's that? Sorry.
Or SPS burning.
Yeah, correct. Yes. But they're not going to be minting. There's not going to be minting pressure on DEC. And what's the point in exchanging a DEC for Chaos Legion when the team's entire mission at the moment is to bring DEC back to its peg?
Well, that's an interesting conversation. I'd love to comment there, but Jim, I'd like to get you in here. What do you think about card prices in the next 6 months to a year, and then also about the DEC, like, and how that relates to maybe the conversation of whether you would even want to touch cards at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, what he was just talking about, and we talked about this on Tuesday, I believe, is if you buy DEC straight up right now and you put it into packs, you are getting a huge deal on it, right? Mm-hmm. You're getting like 60% off or something like, or 40% off, something like that.
Yeah.
And so as soon as they make it to where DEC is pretty much going to be a lot harder to get, people will then start seeing like, oh, all right, well, we're going to be able to get 40% off. All right, well, eventually it's going to turn into 35% off on these packs, and then 30%, and then 20%, and so on and so forth, until it gets closer to its pegged value. Because, well, if they're able to use dark energy crystals for it, they're better off doing that than just buying the credits, because you're getting more packs overall.
Yeah.
When it comes to cards, I don't really know what I'd say about card prices stabilizing. I could definitely see it. I could also see it going further down.
Yeah. Me too.
I do think once they cut the supply of DEC by a whole lot, I can definitely see that going back up to pegged. And if there's for any reason that you're able to get DEC above pegged value,
mm-hmm.
well, then all you have to do is start burning SPS to get a better value for it.
That's right. Which should, for anybody who's listening and hasn't heard about that yet, is going to mean that would be a natural anchor to really hold it at $1. Because if DEC goes to, for instance, $2 per 1,000, which is crazy. At this point, I think that's crazy. If it did that somehow, just people would burn their SPS to essentially double their, because $1 of SPS would equate to 1,000 DEC. And if somehow 1,000 DEC equals $2, then you're going to burn SPS all day long to double your money. And so that's really going to hold us at $1. But then I do think Llama's right about the pressures that are going to be here when you just cut off the faucet for DEC and you say, okay, now we're literally, the only way to get it is to burn your cards, which almost no one does, or to burn the SPS, which no one will do while DEC is this low, right? Like, there's no reason to take 1,000 DEC right now for $1 worth of SPS. That's just, it doesn't jive because the DEC is not worth $1 at this juncture. And so it really does seem really, I think, as far as I can tell, it seems really brilliant, and I think it's going to work. And so I do follow you, Llama, and I think I agree with what you're saying, but I would disagree with the part about how you said, so I mean, why would you buy Chaos Legion packs now? Because I do think there's a unique opportunity still that maybe, you would agree exists. Like you can get the voucher discounts through purchasing Splinterlands. Through Splinterlands, you can get the affiliate bonus by buying with one of your alt accounts. You can get bulk buy bonuses by buying it in large sum. And then you're going to get 5 more legendary airdrop summoners potentially. And so if you've got like 2, 3, 5 million DEC, which is frankly not that much money, if you're serious in crypto. I mean, I'm sitting on almost 3 million DEC. I think that's going to be probably enough to get you 1 airdrop of every remaining legendary summoner, and like you said, 12 days more of SPS airdrop, which by my calculations is a million airdrop points is roughly $33 by the end of the airdrop. So $570 worth of DEC today is going to get you $33 worth of SPS by the end of the airdrop, which is 12 days away, plus those 5 airdrops, plus those affiliate bonuses, plus those voucher discounts. And so I do think, and they're giving you peg value now. Like, so yeah, we could wait for DEC to go to peg later. And like to your point, I think that's true. But interestingly, I think this is the same thing, isn't it? Or do you think I'm missing something there?
I just think that personally, I would be looking at gaining the opportunity of the 40% increase in DEC in the interim, and then purchasing singles to make it a rounded deck, as opposed to purchasing Chaos Legion cards. Luck of the draw, getting a bunch of cards which you most likely aren't going to be using or don't need, depending on what league you're in. Why not put that money to work properly and purchase the DEC now, wait for that peg to be reached, and then use that 40% increase that you've got to purchase cards which, and to the level of cards which you are going to need for your specific league. Instead of just purchasing Chaos Legion packs willy-nilly and just getting the luck of the draw. Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, there's a precision element to what you're saying.
Correct, and you could shore up, like if you have certain holes in your deck, you could shore them up with various precision purchases. Whereas if you just throw 3 million DEC at Chaos Legion packs in the next 2 weeks to take advantage of the deal I talk about, maybe you're gonna get some great cards, and maybe you won't. You are gonna get 1 legendary summoner for every one of the remaining. That's pretty cool. But those are probably only $25 or $30 cards based on Wraith's current price point. And so, I think you're right. Like if you took 3 million DEC, which is 3 million DEC is roughly this much, 1710 US. If you took that and you just held it in DEC, which is 3 million DEC right now, and you did what you're saying, you're going to add 40% to your buying power. That's and so you're going to turn essentially $1,700 worth of buying power into $2,400, and you can be precision with how you're executing those purchases, like you're saying. Interesting.
The other way I also see it is, I don't think that, so when we run out of Chaos Legion packs, right? I don't think their value is going to shoot up drastically. But I mean, they could easily go to like $12 to $16 range. And even at that point, we're looking at, if you buy them at the $4, right? You're looking at 3 or 4x. But if you're able to now buy them at a lot cheaper price, so if people are buying them right now for $2.20, and then getting bulk on top of that with vouchers, now we're looking at a 6 to 7x, and I think that could happen relatively quickly after they sell out.
Yeah, like the sales have been picking up. They're not fast, but like I'm saying, we had about 20 or maybe 25,000 sold yesterday, and we've had about 15,000 sold today. That's still a long way to the next million, but I mean, these bonuses are serious. Like if you like, this is a lot of packs, but if you were to buy 2,000 packs, then you're getting a 20% bonus with vouchers, which vouchers are free right now. Vouchers are like 30 cents each. So these are essentially 400 free packs available. Or if you can't do that, well, can you do 500 and get that 15% bonus, or even 100 and get that 10% bonus? So I do think this is a really cool opportunity, but I also really like precision purchases in the marketplace. And then if you had DEC, interestingly, you could really execute some like bid buys, which is always a good way to maximize your purchasing power, because you're going to get deals when you use that bid buy function.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like also the big factor of, do you want to be more of a player? Do you want to have a mix of investments in here? Or do you just want to be like an investor?
William has a great comment here. He was talking about end of season rewards and how they just inundate the marketplace with huge opportunities to obtain cards. And he was saying that yesterday, or I guess the day before, whenever the season ended, that commons were selling at 1.6 times the burn value. I didn't know that.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And it's because of the bots, basically.
Yeah.
You know, their rewards. They're just pushing everything onto the market because they're still profiting. They're still making thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Even with those prices.
Yeah.
So why not? But yeah, 100%. What a great opportunity that
Yeah.
exists in the market.
So cool. I actually went through the other day. So this was maybe a good segue actually, because I wanted to talk about another. We were talking about Llama. You were showing me that ability with Splex to see the time till payoff. I was finding something cool for the first time ever, because I usually use peak monsters for my buys and sells to try and find deals. But my buddy was like, "Hey, you can come into, maybe you guys know this. Tell me if you do, but you can come into the market and you can actually click on like all levels, max level, and then like you can get into." You can just try to do the math and like see, well, this is what I did. I went into Pellicore Mercenary and then you got to organize by BCX down. These are the highest BCXers. This one here, 400 BCX is a max copy. It's $3.80. Yesterday, I bought 9 of these. I bought 9 of these for $2.50 each.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, these are the type of cards as well where we're going to see the greatest increases in value, I think, because as with anything, and I speak a lot about this in market cap and the price, it takes far less amount of money to increase the value of those cards than it does with higher value cards.
Yeah,
for a $40 card, it takes a lot more money to double the value of that, to go from $40 to $80.
Yeah.
As opposed to these small cards where it's $3.80.
Yeah.
$7.60 is not far off from that.
Yeah. No one, like, people aren't going to bat much of an eye if this max level card was $8 or 10 or 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not an issue at all. And we've seen this previously, like with towards the end of last year, with Flesh Golem, for instance. Disgusting prices for a maxed out copy, which Pellicore Mercenary is basically based off, right? Same sort of tank, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't, once everything starts increasing again, I don't see that out of the realms of possibility.
Totally. And I think historically I've seen that these commons and rares are the ones where they can be like 100x or even, 200x or something like that. Because like, to your point, like that's, just, they are, first of all, sometimes they're that good. And second of all, it isn't that much money. Like if you were to say a carry card, like I would say Flesh Golem, or if a carry card was $400, you wouldn't kind of, there's a lot of great cards that are $1,000 or $2,000. Some of them are $4,000 for some of the best cards. If it's a really pivotal card and it costs $400, it's like actually not that bad. And yet right now it's so cheap because they're just everywhere. They, like I said, I bought 9 copies yesterday that were max. Like, look at this. This is my actual Infidel 1258 portfolio of Pellicore Mercenaries, and they're all being rented right now for who knows how much. At the time when I bought it for $2.50 each, I went and I looked at the rental profit through Peak Monsters, and it was saying it was a 300% ROI on the year. So, it's ludicrous. Like to William's point, the burn values are higher. To the point you're raising with the Splex Llama, like the rental opportunities are significant in terms of how fast they pay it off. And then like even the future price appreciation, it seems really promising, let's say. And so it's just a crazy time. But I'm not spending any DC on cards right now, guys. And if anybody in the audience is doing that, like Llama was saying, like just hold on to that. I'm putting in a little fresh money though, because I do think these prices are so cheap. I've been putting in, like this month, I put in $200 worth of credits just to get in here and just buy up some of these cheapies. And I'm super glad I did.
I mean, I was tempted to even, because I know it's guaranteed. I was tempted even to swap out all my SPS to DEC. Capture that change in value over a short period of time, and then convert it back.
Wow.
Because I know that it's a guaranteed.
Yeah.
I see. With SPS 40% price increase. Yeah, I mean it's possible. It's not out of the realms, but this is a guarantee. Well, as far as we can say.
Yeah.
It's almost a guarantee. But going back to the reward cards and what your picks are there, I think I'm 100% with you with these low value cards. And second to that, I think next up from these reward cards, which are going to be ceased to be being printed, is airdrop cards, because these cards are there's far less in circulation and far less being printed than standard cards, because they're limited edition, right? Well, I mean, most cards in Splinterlands are, but there's less going to be printed.
Do you mean the reward cards? Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about airdrop cards.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But for instance, right now, which to me is absolute insanity, considering the value of this card and what it does for the Life Splinter Grandmaster Wraith. Yes, exactly. You're looking at it now. It costs less to max out Grandmaster Wraith than it does to max out Obsidian.
I know.
To me, that's ludicrous,
dude.
That card, Grandmaster Wraith, plus one armor, void armor on everything and amplify.
Yeah.
That, as opposed to +1 magic.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That doesn't make sense. It's like $211 or something at the moment to max out a Grandmaster Wraith, and it's what, 277 or something like that to max out an Obsidian.
Yeah.
And there's like 270,000 Obsidians in circulation, and there's like 15,000 Grandmasters Wraiths printed.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That just, to me, that makes absolutely zero sense. And I think that people should be taking those kind of opportunities, and that kind of opportunity, it wouldn't matter what the price of DEC is. I'd just change the money into DEC and max out a copy, which I've already done.
Yeah.
But that to me, that doesn't make any kind of sense.
Dude, this is where I totally agree. And yesterday I was looking at Grandmaster Wraith regular foil versus General Sloan, and Sloan was like, I want to say $20 cheaper, but Sloan is nowhere near as good as this card. And
no, I believe as well that Wraith is better than the Peak Rider too, because that
100%.
And what, Peak Rider is going for $130 at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
$130 per BCX.
That's right. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, the 3 armor is great. The -1 range, take it or leave it. But +1 armor, so to an already life Splinter is already the most heavily armored Splinter in Splinterlands.
Yeah.
So you've already got the armor anyway, and then you're giving +1, but then you're mitigating every a lot of cards anyway do, because they've got shield as well in life, but you're mitigating every single attack, basically, and then you amplify as well, and so you're only foregoing an extra +2 armor, which as well, Life Splinter has the most sort of protect cards as well with the +2 armor anyway. So you just need to chuck a truth speaker, which is being played in most hands in high levels anyway.
Yeah.
And then you've got what the peak rider has, but then you're safe against nearly everything, as opposed to because you got void armor.
Yeah. Yeah. This card is very, very strong. I'm enjoying him a lot. Interesting on just looking at the gold foils too. Like if you could get this high bid price, 137, this is a level 2. It's a level 2 out the gate for $137 theoretically. And I think if you looked at the regular foil, like we were talking about 3 copies, which is $60. Like, so you're paying like maybe double. Yeah. Okay. It's double, but like, there's no way that gold foils are so rare, and gold foil legendary summoners are so desirable, like in the long run. Maybe not, maybe the price goes down from here. I don't know if it goes down, because you guys were talking, you both mentioned earlier when we were talking about the card prices, maybe what are they going to do in the 6 months to a year? You both seem a little bit, maybe, let's say, reluctant to say either way, to be honest. And I think I agree. Like I implied that I could see the prices, staying stable, but I could imagine them really pumping before when land launches, and suddenly there's this whole new place to dump our cards. And then what will that do to supply? And so I could see a lot of different reasons why it might pump. I could also see, a continued trickle bleed out. So I don't know either, but, when I think about Grandmaster Wraith, I'm like, we're making some amazing arguments why the price is great now. I don't know that it doesn't get better. Like I could see the price continue to fall. I don't know. Maybe it does
in the short term.
Yeah,
in the short term. But and I know you are as well, and I'm sure Jim is too. But DCAing in anything is a great idea in the crypto world.
Yeah.
Because we're, especially when we've been in a bull market for some time now, DCAing is obviously going to be prosperous moving forwards. But I think as well, since I guess one of the other issues we were having, and this is relatable to card prices, I guess, but was with bots, for instance, the whales would create 5,000, 10,000 bots and have them farming, and they're just minting more DEC continuously, which is obviously increasing the supply and decreases the value at the same time. So that was also part of the downwards pressure that that DEC has seen.
Yeah.
But as well as the airdrop, and since that's ending, I guess, that and the SPS rewards can come to life. And I forgot to mention as well, they're splitting the SPS rewards into pools, which is awesome because, and for the bot haters, I guess specifically, because instead of bots being able to farm all those rewards for themselves in Bronze League, for instance, the Bronze League will only have a portion of the total SPS rewards pool, and so will Silver, Gold, etc. So this is also good for our card assets, because bots aren't going to just be able to farm all the players' rewards in a single league. They're going to have to, and that's why as well, why switching to SPS rank rewards is going to be advantageous, I guess.
Yeah.
For that reason. But they're going to be incentivized to push into higher leagues with more accounts. Otherwise, they're just getting a fixed portion of the SPS rewards if they're all farming in the same league. And what does that mean? That means more investment into the economy, cards, rentals, etc., which is good for everyone, and it's good for everyone's assets.
Yeah, definitely. I think, holy cow, yeah, the separation, the division across leagues of how the pool will work is something I actually forgot about. So I'm really glad you mentioned it. Super important.
And yeah, just moving forwards as well, I think that's going to have a adverse effect on the cards and card value. But yes, of course, this is probably a little ways down the track. And once everything's set in stone and we've got all these cogs and everything moving in a way that will allow this. But yeah,
that's going to make me want to move into, like, to restore my efforts to play at champion. Do you know what I mean? Because if there's only something like, the last I heard, there's only like 300 people playing at that high level. And if that's so, then you're going to imagine, first of all, you're going to imagine that the pool that they give available to that higher level is going to be significant. And then second of all, there's going to be such a small amount of people playing at that high level that it's going to make sense to be fighting for that piece of the pie, I imagine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hang on a second. I'm just going to mute all save. Okay. Let's see what else is going on. So William also said earlier that he saw UNITQM, whoever I guess is like a major seller in the market. I actually don't know that name. Sold a level 10 Delwyn for 550. Delwyn, I really like Delwyn, especially since the wild format is like officially here. I like that card a lot. I love that he can play with any splinter. And it was less than half the price of the next level 10 listed. When that happens, it's so crazy. Like you can't not take it if you have the money in hand.
That's incredible. I remember as well when Delwyn actually when we switched to Chaos Legion, and we removed the what was it? The beta, was it beta summoners when we lost the Alric as our standard starter card?
Yep.
That Delwyn's price just increased like massively because everyone was just jumping on that instead because they could essentially still play all their water deck anyway with the +1 magic. But it's interesting to see his price because they were at ludicrous prices. It was for one BCX, it was like $12 for one BCX of Delwyn, I remember. But obviously that's come down now that we can't sort of use those water magic cards.
Days, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming to hang out. He said, I think once land comes out, card prices would jump up again since land takes massive chunks of cards out of circulation. I heard, and I don't know, I've never verified this for myself, but I heard that each plot of land can run with 5 cards. I think 4 monsters and 1 summoner. It's like a little team, and they're going to be staked there on a plot of land, and there's like 150,000 plots of land. So I mean, that's a ton of cards that would theoretically be like tied up. Now, not every plot of land will be put to work because some of it's just going to be AFK. But I mean, it's like hundreds of thousands of cards that are just going to disappear off of the marketplace, either being bought from the marketplace to be put to work or being taken off of the game, the battle arena, taken out of tournaments, taken out of the rental market for the purpose of putting to work on the land. And I think that can't help but help prices. But you guys know me, like I don't care about the short term really. It's like where are we going to be in 4 years? I think onward and upward is what would be my conclusion.
The other thing with the plots, right? It's 750,000 cards, but we're also not looking at how many BCX that is.
Good point.
So the people that are throwing in like maxed out cards, if there's 3 of them, then you're essentially taking half of that number and then multiplying it. I guess you divide it by times 0.6.
Wouldn't it be like times 400 even? Like, because if these were all common cards,
well, this was the total with timesing it by 5 cards. So say like 3 of the cards were maxed out, or we could say all of the cards are maxed out.
Like if you said 100, that would be like some of them are maxed out, some of them aren't, and you're already up to like 100,000. You're 75 million BCX probably, and maybe that's
huge.
It might be an exaggeration, but it's something in that. It's in the realm of millions of BCX, I would think.
Yeah.
And if you can purchase a plot of land, then you can max out a card as well. So and you're going to be wanting to put max level cards on these because then you're going to get more resources. So presumably all these plots of land are going to have maxed out cards on them.
Yeah.
Which is a ton of cards which have been burned.
Which at that point the BCX could be higher because then some common cards could be 400. Is it 400 BCX?
Yeah.
Or 500?
Yeah. 4.
Yeah, 400 BCX. So then it's like you could also then take that number and easily times that by 2.
Did you say 4 cards? 4 4 cards are going to be able to be placed on one plot, or is that the rumor that you heard?
Yeah, 4 monsters and 1 summoner. That's what I heard.
That makes a lot of sense because you got common, rare, epic, and legendary. So maybe one of each.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Oh, this is interesting. I haven't tried the different league division. Have you, Llama? Have you played the new Modern versus Wild yet? Have you tried each of the leagues or seen? No,
I haven't touched.
Jim, have you gotten into it yet?
I haven't yet. No, my bot only plays Wild.
Does the bot can the Archmage be told to play Modern or Wild, or does it have the capacity to only play Wild?
As of right now, they stated that it only does Wild, but they are working on it, making it for Modern as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it would probably take a couple of days before they change it up. Now I'm interested in your audience, 12.
Yeah.
What are their thoughts on these bots that are coming out?
Yeah, good question.
Everyone in chat, what are your thoughts on this? Obviously, this is a completely different to bot farms because it's essentially just helping out players rather than people with thousands and thousands of accounts. We're not purchasing these tokens to purchase thousands and thousands of them, and I don't even think that there's that many in circulation. But for the tokens to be able to use these bots, so what's the chat's thought on these new products like Archmage and Splintermate and things like that?
They'll probably take them a minute to send their comments through, but I've noticed this one earlier today. Dennis Van Sheik dropped a comment on my most recent season reward video, and he said, "Hey 12, I seem to notice a lot of people reacting negatively upon arrival, and ultimately the results of the Archmage bot gets no effort of playing at all. People seem to fear the game turning into bot versus bot. Do you think the Splinterlands team, after a while, will decide to block bots if they get better and better?" IGN, yeah. So I think this is the sentiment. I agree. This seems to be the sentiment that I'm hearing more and more in comments, and also I saw. Who did I see covering it? I feel like I saw Bulldog recently cover something bot related, and people were quite critical. And
Aftersound talked with one of the lead people in Archmage, Max Power.
Yeah, and how
he did a live stream.
I saw part of that.
Yeah, I've also got one happening on Tuesday as well with one of the founders too. Speaking.
That's awesome. What time is that out, Llama?
That's GMT plus 8, 6 p.m. GMT plus 8 on Tuesday.
Okay.
I have no idea what time that is.
That's okay. Coming out this week, guys. Yeah, that's. I mean, like, I have one critical comment on the Archmage. Like, I first of all, Archmage is very powerful. Like, I've heard. I'm enjoying it. Jim's enjoying it. I heard videos being covered by Tales from the Cryptmancer, and he has it fight. Last season it reached into Champion 2, which he's never been to Champion 2 as a human player with his deck, but he gave him the same deck, and the bot made it into Champion 2 like really easily. And
so good.
Yeah, and so
I could see the grin behind that statement, Jim.
Yeah,
it's so good, man.
And if you look at the play here, this is my account. The red names or losses: 1, 2, 3 losses. 4. This one was me playing, so 3 out of 17 losses. So 17 and 3 for the bot. And mind you, it's got 170,000 power, so maybe you might say it's way too overpowered for silver, and that's why. Okay, fine, but like I just said, Tales from the Cryptmancer used it with, like, I think he said 550,000 power or something, and he was up in Champion 2, which he's never touched before. And he considers his deck a diamond deck with a lot of gold cards. And so it's a powerful bot, and yet they aren't giving it to everybody. And so
that's the part I like.
That's the part that I like too, but that's the part that people could maybe be critical of, because it's like, oh, it's just for certain like special people and we can't even get it, and it's super annoying that, like, maybe that's what some people, that's the vibe for some people. I don't know, Jim, have you noticed anything like that on either your live streams with Splinterlands TV or for that matter anywhere else?
The people that say it's for the special people, it's not. It's just a premium bot, and either you have to be really quick at getting it in these next couple weeks, or hope you're able to get it for the main launch, or you just have to spend a little extra money to get it on the secondary market.
Yeah.
It's not just for, streamers, content creators, whatever it is. But like the bot is ridiculously good. And since there's a limited amount of them, I guess someone could do this. Someone can't just have like 1,000 accounts running it, right? And that's always the worst part about the bots is just someone could be like, oh yeah, I have 1,000 bots. I have 2,000. I have a couple hundred.
Yeah. That's the I agree. It's like,
so just to let you know right now, because each token on Hive Engine at the moment is going for $68. Yeah, that's what, if you're looking at 1,000 accounts, that's like nearly $70,000 that you're paying. But there's not even that many. There's not even that many in circulation. You couldn't even do that. It's not possible to actually.
Wouldn't it be 70,000 if it's like $70?
Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah, close to $70,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's $68 if you're looking for 1,000. But yeah, there's not even that many in circulation, so that's not even possible. Which is good. And I think that it's responsible from the devs doing it that way, because then it could. I don't know what they're planning on doing in the future though. Obviously it's more profitable for them to sell more tokens.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not sure either, but it feels like to me, this is like if I had to guess from like a business standpoint, I would imagine this is like a trial period where they want people to see how powerful it is. They want it to be talked about. Oh, it's like unique and it really wins. But then, if it ever gets to a place where it's like, it's just available, they give as many away as people want to buy, which they could, then it's not really going to be uniquely powerful anymore, because it's going to be facing off against itself in many instances and players in other instances. And so, and they don't care, like in the long run, Archmage doesn't really care, if that happens, as long as it's got a great, exceptional reputation right now. And then there's all kinds of talk about it. And then, because the more people that are using it later, as far as I understand, we have to pay like a proportion of our season. Jim, is that true? Like, do you have to give them a certain amount of your earnings?
Right. Yeah, so it is fee based, and depending on what rank you play at, that's how much of the fee percent is. So
and
bronze,
it
it
on
is
what token you have as well, whether you have the alpha, beta token.
Yeah, and then discounts depending on if you're in beta or alpha. But the baseline for it is, I want to say it's 35% or 33% for bronze, 25% for silver, 15 gold, and then 10% for diamond and champion. So if you're playing in diamond and you put in 1,000, essentially you give them 1,000 DEC, they pretty much don't charge you until you reach that 10,000 back.
So I do think,
but with this as well, if you are putting these, if people are purchasing these bots, and they do allow it to be for everyone, then this is also increasing the value of everyone's cards as well, because all those bots, if you're saying that they're going to be in champion, they have to have a champion deck. So that increases rental prices, that increases the price of cards as well. So
that's a great point.
It's all relative really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point, because at the end of the day, if this unlocks the ability to put more decks, more accounts to work, then those need to be equipped with cards. Bobby Blankenship said, "Don't care about bots, just want to play." Yeah, I think there's a ton of people who are going to be in that boat. It's like probably going to be more the bigger people with like multiple accounts. Like me, I've got about 5 million power. I can't possibly use it all myself. Like even if I put it all into one account, it's way too much to actually, like, I really only need probably 600,000 power on one account to achieve like a high level of success, probably the capacity that I'm capable of really doing with my own skill set. And then the other is just like overkill. At times there's tons of amazing cards that you guys would love to own even one copy of. And I don't even play them. They just sit on the bench. And so it's like, well, now that I've got this bot, like, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to like actually see rewards that I keep, you know, being automated, and like my unlocking some of the power of what I've accumulated here. And it will probably incentivize me to go deeper on accumulating even more resources and putting together even more high level decks, because it's like, oh, I could maybe do more than one Archmage by buying a $60 or $70 token. And then paying that nominal fee, but actually, because I have such long-term confidence both in the price appreciation of the cards, and also some assets to spend, it's like it kind of just it will work for a guy like me. And that's where William says the mainstream sentiment from content providers has shifted to pro bot. If you can't beat them, join them. And I think something true about that, in the sense that like a lot of the content creators are saying things like, hey, this is interesting. You know, I will use bots in certain contexts. I mean, personally, I've never been against bots. Like I've done videos on the channel. I've said things like, you know, when people say like bots are terrible, they're ruining the game, they should get rid of them, I always say, no, that's not true. I always say that, you know, first of all, you can't get rid of bots. Second of all, even if you could, that would be a centralized authority thing, which is part of the reason that it's the antithesis of why I came here. I wanted decentralization. I wanted, anonymity, and then not KYC and, hey, you're running this or you're doing that and you're out. So like personally, I've never been like outright against them. I think they create certain exploits, but I think the team is trying to quell that or whatever. And I think that's all we can really ever ask, at least in my opinion.
Yep. I think there's some truth in that statement, but then also I'm against bots largely in the way of bot farms. And I'm against bots in the way that they can farm the majority of players' rewards. Now, if that's not the case, then I'm pro bot. If it's specific users where, like for instance yourself, Dwayne, where you got a bunch of CP that's not being utilized correctly, then yeah, that's fine. You're not spreading that over thousands and thousands of accounts and eating up, you know, all these rewards of the Splinterlands player base.
Yeah.
You're not doing it in a way that's exploitive or detrimental to the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Whereas the bot farms are, and they're taking out, you know, the rewards which should be going to players. But if it's just, you know, if it's an account here and there, that's fine. And especially if the tokens are limited in supply anyway, then it's not making a meaningful difference. And as I mentioned as well, now that we're splitting the reward with SPS rewards, now we're splitting that, it's even even further mitigated, so that the bots can specifically not do that and not steal everyone's rewards.
William's making a comment that I'm not sure what to make of, but I'm going to say it and you guys can weigh in. He says, Max Power, who is one of the guys for Splex, he's also a dev for Splintermate. And he talked about Splintermate in a previous comment. Splintermate is a bot that can be told to play in Modern or Wild, but the majority of bots are stuck in Wild. He said, so he's also a dev on Splintermate, and he said, you don't have to fight the Splex Guardians for the Archmage token. The service is cloud-based, and it costs $1 per month. The service is farm-friendly, though. And so this is like a different service he's talking about, Splintermate, that I have never heard of until now. Yeah. And so it sounds like it is farm-friendly. And I do think there's like a grain of truth to this. Could lead to just like bots versus bots, and it's not even really playing anymore. And I don't like that world, but I don't know what we do about that, in the sense of, you know, like, like look at drinking laws and wherever you guys are from. You probably can't drink and drive, but maybe you can't even drink on the beach, right? In Canada, you're not allowed to go have a bottle of wine or a single beer on the beach watching the sunset with your girlfriend or whatever. It's illegal.
No public drinking.
Yeah, it's illegal. But here's the strange thing. Like, think about that. That means that, well-meaning, like innocent, like a person who's just gonna have one beer and sit there with their wife or their husband or whatever and enjoy an evening is a criminal. But it's like, do you think that law is going to stop any actual belligerence, any actual public drunkenness? No, because those people don't give two hoots about what a rule says or doesn't say. They're going to get drunk anyways. And so I feel like that analogy applies here in the context of bots, where if we said, for instance, Dwayne, you shouldn't be allowed to use this bot because, hey, it's going to actually incentivize all these other people to try and use it. I don't think that's true. I think those people are going to find ways that they already are. Tens of thousands of them are already botting. And maybe it's a less effective bot. I don't know that really matters. It's just as interesting. Like, I don't know how to handle something like this. And so,
but
yeah,
this is why we have laws. This is why we have laws, right? So we mitigate that by putting these laws and regulations in place, which is essentially what Splinterlands does. They're adding everything to mitigate the damage that this does. And we can see that they understand what's happening, and they, more than anyone, can see the numbers on the back end, and how much money has been taken out of the ecosystem from bots. And that's not the aim. The aim is for players to be profitable. And so that's where I think their policing will come in, and they've been doing this. They've been showing us that they're doing this by, the initial ones were taking out the starter cards, and then the new focus system and how our focus and rating and cards and all that kind of stuff comes into play as well. So they're policing this. They're the ones who are policing no drinking on the beach, or at least mitigating it somewhat.
Yeah. But the problem at the end of the day is who does the law stop? Does it ever really stop a criminal? Does it ever stop somebody who's really malicious and desires to set up a 10,000 bot farm? And look at wind trading. Like, wind trading is not allowed, but certain people are absolutely doing it. And Tales from the Cryptmancer has heavily covered and clarified this point. And so it's like, yeah, you can make these rules, but like, the law-abiding people who are front-facing are really going to ever be held to account for these rules. I don't know how to get around that reality, but I think that's a reality we're facing when we say things like bots are a problem, we need to get rid of them, Splinterlands should do something. All of this type of sentiment. I don't really know that there's an end to that conversation. Like, it's a total transformation of this game into some other game. Into some centralized type game, I think.
Yeah. I don't think that we're ever going to be able to stop it. We're never going to be able to stop the bots, or never going to be able to stop this type of behavior. All we can do is slow it down or make it more fair.
Yeah. And those are worthwhile pursuits.
These different rules.
Yeah. Those are worthwhile pursuits, like trying to make it more fair. That's a great goal to like aim at. I shouldn't have done this. Now I'm going to be distracted here.
Done what?
I'm queuing up a battle, and I'm like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were taking your mobile platform to the beach.
Going to get a beer.
Don't do it.
Go ahead, Jim.
I said, don't do it. You can't handle it, Dwayne.
That's right. Dude, I'm September 15th is going to be 9 years, or maybe 10 years. It might be 10 years.
Oh.
September.
Congratulations, man. That's amazing.
2013. So 9 years. 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
You, sir, are a better man than I.
I'm starting to get toward wrap up time, but let's go maybe another 20 minutes. If there's anything that's on your mind, Jim or Llama, I'd love to get into it. There is one more thing that I want to talk about actually, but I'll concede to you guys. If you got anything you want to grab into, then let's get into it.
Go, Jim.
I just want to let everyone know I've been a huge fan of botting since about 2007, and like every single MMO I play, I will try to bot, and it also can get you banned. And I haven't been banned in any MMO other than RuneScape, but a friend of mine has gotten banned in a few, and we also have done RMT activity, so that's another bannable offense.
Real money
And
trading.
yeah, exactly. Real money trading. So finding these games on the blockchain, especially the ones where I can bot and obviously get money for it, I've just been ahead of the curve, I guess you could say, for like
Yep.
15 years.
Yeah. So you're the type of person who, instead of, taking just a beer to the beach, you'll take a few cartons.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the vendor at the beach.
I heard a question the other day that I was meaning to cover, and I think it might be a nice time to cover it right now with you, Llama, because you've got like TA background and a bit more to come. Maybe you can add a different angle to this question. So the question, I tried to pull it up, I can't find it. It was roughly something like, with us stepping into what seems like the bear market, or maybe we're already in it, or however you want to look at it. Prices are declined, and I think if bear markets take years to resolve themselves, and the next bull market might still be 4 years away from here. If all of that is roughly true, give or take a few months, kind of thing. Like where are you guys at? And Jim, I know you're kind of new to crypto, but where are you at in terms of like I've personally come to this space, cryptocurrency, blockchain, NFT, gaming, from a background of like excitement and eagerness to get away from fiat currency and move into cryptocurrency. And like, I wonder for you guys, Jim, you being new, Llama, you having that TA background, do you feel like anything has changed about crypto at this moment in time where, for instance, you're like, okay, no, like I just need to wash my hands. I need to like position myself to start moving out, to start selling down, start paring back. Has something broken? Has something changed dramatically? Or are you now maybe as excited or more excited than where you were, let's say, 6 months or a year ago, about the future? Not necessarily about where your price point is at, not necessarily where your wallet looks like today, but just about the future of blockchain and maybe NFT gaming. Or has something changed or broken for you guys in this? Maybe I'll start with you, Llama.
Not at all. I think that some of the most promising projects and technology is being created right now in front of our eyes, and it's an awesome time to be alive. And on the point of maybe we're in a bear market at the moment. I'm just looking now. There's been a reduction in 75% in the value of Bitcoin over the past 248 days. So I would say that yes, 100% we're in a bear market. Yeah, it's there's so many new technologies and so many things happening, putting the power back in the people's hands, as opposed to fiat, where banks and governments are controlling everything. And I think that in itself is one of the most positive and perhaps pivotal things that's ever happened in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Where this is, we're on a completely different field now, and putting the power back into people's hands. So for me, no, I 100% will continue to invest in these projects, and even better that as gaming. I've always been a gamer, and being able to utilize this sort of policy with gaming as well, that just really, really excites me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what heats my oven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Jim, I know you're new to this space and you didn't come to this really because of blockchain exactly. You came to it from the gaming perspective. First of all, is that true? And then second of all, do you have any new feelings about where this is going? Any maybe brand new reservations or I don't know, even new positive excitement around where you're at with NFT or blockchain generally?
Yeah, so I got into this, I guess you could say, started because of the game. And it was about a few days before I even got into Splinterlands. I just learned what blockchain even was. I've known about crypto for a few years now, but I never really got into it. I didn't really understand the wallet things and making all of that stuff work out. And so I slowly got into Splinterlands, and people started teaching me how to work the wallet and like these other I guess secondary markets like Tribal Dex or B Swap or Hive Engine,
Mm-hmm.
and so slowly figuring that stuff out. And we also look back a few months ago. It was kind of the biggest time for NFTs and blockchain. In November, December time range.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was really easy to be like, oh man, I love where this is going. This is great. We're all up right now.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're at a point where everything is ridiculously low.
Hmm.
And the people who don't believe in the technology, which I'm a huge fan of, I can see so much stuff in the future that's going to be based off of this.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
and so many people refer to it as a scam right now. They're like, it's just JPEGs. Then people are like, um, oh, well, you can use NFTs as like a receipt for things. And they're like, but why would I do that when I could just either not have the receipt or have a physical receipt?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I think these people are having bad arguments.
Yeah.
I see it in form of, I come from a card game background. I now have these assets, digital assets, like I would if I was playing Magic
Mm-hmm.
or if I was playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's exactly what these are. And
Yeah.
I am now what Archmage is doing. They're like, all right, well, you need to have our token if you want to utilize our software with our bot.
Yeah.
Well, then you could also take that even further of, we think about physical video games for like the Xbox, PlayStation, whatever it is, right? And you could go around, pass those over to friends, they can play stuff, whatever. What's to stop a business going into the future of essentially doing the same thing like the Archmage, but with a video game of, all right, well, you can buy our NFT, you can buy our token, and that gives you access to this game, and it could be online, or it would have to be online, right? And then there's a secondary market that you can go ahead and sell that game if you want, or you can then go ahead and buy used copies. We're going to put quotes around used copies,
Mm-hmm.
and just buying them off the secondary market as well. I think we're going to get to a point where the blockchain is far bigger than people are even imagining it right now.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think you make a great point, a couple of points there. One, in the fact that, Splinterlands is going to be completely. That's their aim, is to completely decentralize Splinterlands, for people to be able to have offshoots and to essentially just copy the code and do whatever they want,
Yeah.
expansion pack or whatever they want with it. So this is not saying in the future that someone's not going to create an offshoot which doesn't allow bots. That's a possibility too. But this is what this technology affords us.
Yeah.
And that we can shape it into however we deem fit.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, you mentioned there, Jim, about we were at the highs and everyone's enjoying it, and now everyone thinks that it's that play to earn is a scam and Ponzi schemes and all that kind of stuff. yes, that's true, but that's not just true within the play to earn industry. That is true with all cryptos right now. And this
Yeah.
is if anyone else has previously been in cryptos, this is exactly the sentiment which happens in every bear market.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that we're in a bear market right now because the price action doesn't necessarily reflect the true potential that the whichever crypto or Splinterlands has. But I think that once we transition back into the bull market, and people have more liquidity throw around, there's going to be a lot more people joining.
Yeah.
And this is shown in blockchain gaming activity has grown 2,000% over the previous year. And 52% of all blockchain activity is coming from game dApps. And that is incredible.
Wow.
That's incredible, not just for play to, or not just for crypto in general, but for play to earn specifically. 52% of all blockchain activity in game dApps. And with Splinterlands at the forefront of the industry, I just see huge potential in the game moving forwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And so just to share my thoughts too, I mean, I came to crypto because I saw something broken in the fiat world system. Like, I mean, the banking system and the fractional reserve lending and quantitative easing. And I mean, like, inflation is not a good thing. And yet we live in a world where it's been for all of my life, I'm 41 years old. For all of my life, it's been something that has been marketed as a target. We want 2% interest, or sorry, inflation. That's like a good amount of growth. And that's the way it's framed. It's a good amount of growth. It's helping the economy grow. That's a theory. And I don't think that the data bears that out, that it's a quote unquote good amount of, like, I don't think you can have a good amount of inflation. I actually think inflation it's neither good nor bad. It's like, you like it when your house inflates in price. You don't like it when your food bill inflates in price. But they're all just assets, and they theoretically should inflate as money is printed into circulation, because there's only so many of houses. There are only so many of, cans of food. There's only so many dogs. There's only so many cars. And as a result of the limited nature of those, the limited amount of those in circulation, and then the ever increasing fiat currency, it's just natural that when you have more money circulating, that prices for the cost of goods, which are scarce, are going to go up. And that has been a truth that I've recognized ever since 2008, really, when the first financial crisis happened. And that sparked kind of something in me where I was like, whoa, this is broken. And they're not actually trying to fix it. Like, you just saw them in that moment after the market crashed. They just spent the next 3 years really dumping money, literally printing money, quantitative easing, and pouring it into markets to help, like, support the system. Too big to fail is what, remember, they used to throw at us, and the world economy would collapse if we didn't act in this way. Maybe all is so. Maybe that was the right conclusion to draw, but I think all we didn't take away the problem, the threat. We kicked the can down the road. And I think ever since then, I've seen that. And it's like, okay, well, how can I position myself outside of that? Or like precautiously, with some sort of defensiveness to my stance. And it seems to me the only way to really do that is to access things that can't be printed ad infinitum. Like, money can be printed forever and ever and ever, and burnt down to the ground, like we've seen with every fiat currency ever. Literally every historic fiat currency that has ever existed that isn't currently in circulation has failed. So either we've discovered the final ones that are finally going to be forever, or these ones are going to be doomed to fail too. And I think it's the latter. I think they're going to be doomed to fail. Like, I think the USD will at one point not be what we think it is. And in fact, USD used to be backed entirely by gold, and then it was backed partially by gold, and then it was backed not at all by gold. They all look like the same US dollar, but they're not the same fiat currency. They're actually totally different. And actually that's one thing people don't necessarily always recognize, which shows you that dollars fail. The US dollar has already failed. Historically, it failed the first time when it went off of peg from the gold back, and then when it was removed from a partial backing, because those were totally different currencies from what it is now. Now it's just this fiat currency backed by nothing but fiat, which is force. And so Llama, I'll let you get in there. Did you want to say something there?
Yes, okay. No, I was just thinking it's a funny because we're almost seeing this we can ascertain similarities between the economy which we see in Splinterlands being worked out in real time, which basically that really fascinates me. But you know, the power is not, and you mentioned QE or quantitative easing, and you know, the influx of cash being put into the system. And with US dollar, you know, it's basically infinite supply. So how does something with infinite supply hold value for starters?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But also, you know, we don't get to control this. Whereas in the economy surrounding Splinterlands and the ecosystem of Splinterlands is that, especially when the governance system comes in, you know, this is something that this is an economy we can control, and that we are able to do it. The power's not in a government.
Yes.
And I guess you could look at a government as you do with bots, you know, stealing all of our rewards, or, you know, through taxes, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, this is something that we have the power to control. And that for me is incredible. If we can control an economy, we can get rid of all this rubbish which happens in real life.
Yeah.
And real life economies, because you know, it's the power's back in the people's hands. And I think that in an essence is play to earn.
Yeah.
And specifically Splinterlands, and we've seen this happen. We are seeing this in real time happen. This economy is being worked out in real time for the people. And that
Totally
fascinates me.
Yeah. And just one more thought before I conclude on that for myself anyways, is just all of that I said there. It was why I came to this place looking at like something that was scarce, Bitcoin, even other altcoins that are maybe way more, they have way more circulating supply, but they are still scarce. There's still only so many of them. And I recognize that as an interesting opportunity, plus this breathtaking and revolutionary opportunity for like this revolution of technology, like instant commerce, trustless commerce, like just those are gigantic revolutions to what we used to deal with, what we used to experience, and then NFT gaming and what that represented, and how you actually own these assets, and then you like not in the sense of I turn on the game, I load up my save state, and I've got Mario has 98 gold coins. No, like these are mine. These cards are mine. I can literally give them away, sell them, rent them, use them. And that ownership is so powerful because it unlocks potential for my time and attention, return for my time and attention in a substantial and meaningful and life-changing way. And when that reality reaches more people in the world, I think we start to see an exponential growth. Like Llama, you talked about how 52% of the data or the activity is NFT gaming related. But man, when this really reaches, like for instance, Southeast Asia, where people are way more poor than kind of North America, when this gets in the hands of more of Africa, more of like impoverished parts of the world where, you know, a few dollars a day is very life-changing, I think games like this are going to just grow so exponentially. And so I think this is so exciting, and I'm not at all shaken by what we've seen so far. And I couldn't care less. I think I've said even like a year ago, I was already saying, like when in October, November, like the highest of the highs of 2021, I remember saying things like, one day we'll get into a bear market again. And when we do, a ton of people are going to say, oh man, this thing's dead. Bitcoin's dead. And, you know, Splinterlands is dead. And I'll just be quietly doing my thing. And in 4 years' time, I'm confident, I'm certain that there will be a life-changing opportunity there for me. And I think for everyone here listening now, because this game rewards you for your time and attention, because the trivial rewards you're getting daily from playing this game add up and snowball into something really big because of the price appreciation that's potential and available to you with those assets across a long enough time horizon. And so, holy cow, I am not at all shaken. I'm super excited, and nothing has gotten more scary from the perspective of long-term holding within cryptocurrency. Yeah, some projects fail, and that's always the case. That's why I don't mess around with anything but really like top 20, top 30 coins and ones that have been around historically for many, many years. Splinterlands falls into that category. It's been around for many, many years. It's survived a bear market. I think we can have a unique confidence in this game. And so, oh man, I'm super pumped about where we're at and about the future of cryptocurrency broadly, but NFT gaming specifically. I think we haven't even scratched the surface of where this could go.
I agree in totality.
Yeah. Dave said, couldn't agree more. Doubt I'll retire, but maybe I can pay something off really. Yeah, dude. Dave's, that was William. And then Dave said, NFT gaming is one day going to be the standard. We are just really early adopters. I'm sure we'll see some ups and downs before we retire in 5 years. I think that's totally true, Dave. I really do. And those $2 Pellicore mercenaries that I bought, oh my goodness. 9 of them for, I think I paid $20 for 9 of them or something like that. No, dude, that's ridiculous.
Absolutely insanity.
And
I think as well, before we finish up, I'm not sure about your time schedule there, but we didn't really talk about the burning of SPS and what that means for SPS moving forwards.
Yeah, you're right.
This, I think this is exactly what we need for a number of reasons. Imagine the long-term effects of this moving forwards. Let's say, for instance, the next major pack launch after Chaos Legion has, and this is conservative, let's say that there's 15 million packs again, like there was with Chaos Legion, at $4 a pack, like it is currently now. We can definitely say that on the conservative side.
Are you talking about
60 million?
Sorry, Llama. Are you talking about Rift Watchers or the next one?
No. I'm talking about the next major release, not mini release.
Okay.
The next major release after Chaos Legion, so next year sometime.
Yeah.
But that's using the same prices as we have today, which is probably not going to happen. That's conservatively.
Yeah.
That's $60 million worth of SPS.
Yes.
Which is going to be burnt.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to purchase that in DEC, right? So we have to burn the SPS to gain that DEC.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that's meaningful. That's a meaningful amount. And now, where we're having burns, this basically uncaps the value of SPS to go to whatever heights possible.
Yeah.
And I actually did a video about this previously, talking about the node licenses and Rift Watchers SPS burns being they're nice, yes, but not actually super meaningful in the scheme of things, considering SPS's distribution schedule and more SPS being released over the coming years.
Yeah.
You know, it's 3 billion or something like that. So this mechanism to burn SPS is exactly what we need. And one of the first videos that I ever created was about the fully diluted market cap of SPS and how that would prevent SPS's value from moving to crazy amounts because of the supply.
Yep.
And that was really my only worry then. And I of course had a bullish sentiment in the short term, but not long term, because every day that passes, we're diluting the value of the token by increasing the supply of the token.
Mm-hmm.
However, this SPS burn, that changes everything, because we're essentially taking the cap off what could be seen in the value of SPS, because it's not going to be infinite supply, and in fact that it's going to be deflationary in nature, because we're continuously reducing the supply with every release that happens, with purchasing potions, everything. If you're observant and you heard Matt speaking about land and all the upgrades to land that are going to happen as well, all in DEC, which means that we're going to have to burn SPS to do that as well. So all these things which
Yeah.
going to be purchasable within the game are all DEC based, which means that we're just continuously burning SPS.
Yeah. Wow.
And just removing the supply. I mean, that's what more could you want with SPS? If we continue to burn supply, we increase the value of it continuously. So I think, long term now, so previously I was short term bullish, but now I'm long term bullish on SPS because the heights, it's indisputable of what the value could be of SPS in the future.
Yeah, dude, I need more. I've got 100,000 on my main account, and I want 1 million.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't have enough, right?
But there's so many things that are gonna, like Rift Watches, as you were mentioning as well, in August. I think they mentioned.
Yeah.
So that's 3 million. That's 3 million. 3 million packs times 5 in SPS, which can only be purchased in SPS.
Yep.
So that will obviously add buying pressure.
Yeah,
And
$15 million.
then we're gonna require staked SPS to even make rewards in the future, to make SPS rewards. And that Matt mentioned that's going to be the main utility of SPS. And then the leveraging of the governance system will require SPS as well. And then, as I mentioned, the substantial burns on SPS through the burning and minting of DEC, and perhaps having SPS as well being used in other products and their partnerships too. And then as well, on top of that, there was the thought of using SPS or staked SPS eventually replacing collection CP too, because at the moment there's that where someone can purchase one card basically and play in diamond, and that's not at all it doesn't reflect what should actually be happening. So and then we've got the Treasury as well, which there's a potential burn there. Where 300 million SPS is going to the Treasury over whatever the 50 months are remaining of the distribution period, which is 10% of the supply, which could potentially be burnt.
Oh yeah, we're burning that.
Yeah, and then there's already 100 million SPS, or on my calculations, because I think it's around 4 million SPS being added per month to the Foundation Treasury, and because there was 50 million SPS deposited on the first day of SPS being floated on the market. So roughly already we have around 100 million SPS sitting in the Treasury. If we just burn all that, there's 12% of the supply of the total supply in SPS just gone right there. And then we have the Rift Watchers, which is, what did you say that was? Jim, did you calculate that?
The Rift Watchers will be 3 million packs, and then they also stated that they're going to be $5 each. So whatever SPS gets to.
So what's that? At current prices, well, that's what, 320 million SPS at current prices.
Yeah, because it's what 4.7.
Yeah,
4.7 cents.
So I took 15 million. I took 15 million packs times $4. I think it's okay. Different thing. I was trying to figure out. I was looking at how much SPS was going to be burnt with the new packs, but
320 million. But okay, so 320 million plus the 100 million SPS sitting in the treasury. That's what, 420 million SPS. That's like nearly 50% of the total supply at our current price could just be burnt. There's a possibility that could be burnt. Imagine if we had like a 50% decrease in the total supply of SPS, what that instantly does for the price. And then on top of that, then we have that mechanism of SPS and DEC burn happening too in the background. So, I mean, it's crazy. For me, that's just so exciting, and no one's ever going to have enough SPS, and I've said that so many times. But that puts a smile on my face that there's the potential there too. I mean, obviously it's up for SPS governance vote of what's sitting in there in the Treasury, but there is the potential to instantly increase the value of SPS
even if
by some leaps and margins.
even if that's not the play, like, so I think that's probably the play, but even if that's not, you have to understand, you have to come to every SPS pure purchase and soon every SPS that you earn through playing rank battle rewards, and recognize that that pool of money is yours proportionally to deal with, like to vote on, to allocate, maybe to invest in, to maybe to fund new projects, or to, like, so it's ours in one way or another. Whether we ultimately decide to burn it, we are the ones who will say so with our votes. And so, yeah, burning probably makes a lot of sense in like a short term, like doubling maybe of the price, which would be wild for a lot of people, right? But also, even if we didn't go that way, like, what would it look like to have a $20 million war chest for development of Splinterlands that we could vote on? Hey, we want this feature, we want that thing, in a bear market that is maybe going to mean struggle, or could theoretically kind of really slow things down. And then you just like say, no, we've got this. Like, we as collective voters can say, we'd love to throw part of the kitty at that thing that you're talking about to make it happen. And so I don't know if that's going to be the better option. I'm just saying that's an interesting thing to remember too, whether we spend it collectively or whether we burn it as a group decision. There's just so much flexibility and opportunity, and it's ours to decide as SPS stakeholders.
Yep. Yeah, it's not just a bunch, a bunch of people sitting around a table smoking cigars.
Yeah.
It's us, the people who get to decide this through the SPS governance vote. And I think that collectively we're going to do the right thing for the economy and for the game moving forwards.
Okay, one more quick question, then we got to wrap. William dropped a question. He said, SPS or DEC, what are you buying with $100 right now? And each of you guys, Jim, what do you think?
Ooh, I do think DEC is going to be going back up in price short term. But I also think if like DEC goes up in price, other assets are going to go up in price, and also SPS will follow suit. I think regardless of what you do, it's a perfectly acceptable plan.
Yeah.
I personally would go with SPS because then I can just stake it and like kind of forget about it.
Yeah, me too.
Rather than down the line have to take care of the DEC stuff.
Llama, I think you hinted at your answer earlier, but do you want to tell the people, would you go SPS?
Well,
would you go DEC? What?
I hinted at my answer before, but there's, if you're using that amount of capital, then presumably you don't have a ton of money to throw around, and in that case, minimizing risk is always the best option. So perhaps $50 in each. You number one, with especially right now with DEC, you're going to still getting those airdrop points, so you're still making SPS from that as well. But if SPS does increase by over more than 40% over the next 2 months, then you're still making rewards from that. So I would say diversification is obviously the way to go there, depending on how much capital you have to invest.
Prudent. Okay, guys, I'm gonna
diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, always. Yep. Okay, guys, I'm bursting at the seams over here. I had too many drinks over here, but Llama, I really appreciate you coming and hang out. That was a lot of fun, and we tackled some really cool things. And Jim, of course, buddy, always you're a staple and a stalwart. Jim, the Captain Morgan here, guys. Thanks for coming and hang out. Bobby, Henning, William. Who else? Days. Saucy was in here for a bit. I don't know if he's still listening. I think I said Bobby. Eli was in there. Who else? I think that's it. But guys, lots of great questions, lots of great comments. And one more time. Oh, you know what, Llama? Tell the guys about whatever's going on next. You got that video coming up or anything else you want to mention?
Video. Yeah, I've got. Firstly, thanks guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's nice to catch up with you both, and as well have a chat with you, Jim. I haven't done that before. And, can I just also say, Jim, that the timbre of your voice is almost therapeutic. That deep tone. It's really nice to listen to. Whenever
you
I'm
like it.
listening to 12's videos, it's just like, oh, that's a soothing tone.
I swear, I'm
I
not
appreciate it.
blushing.
But yeah, no, I really appreciate you having me on, guys. Thanks very much for that. Yeah, so Tuesday GMT +8, 6 p.m. I've got a just my normal Splinterlands TV stream, but I'm going to have one of the devs from the Archmage bot on to just have a bit of a chat, and that should be fun too. So look out for that.
Cool. Looks like 8 p.m. GMT would be 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So in the afternoon for us and on the West Coast, or in kind of like early afternoon, 4 p.m. ish for East Coast, North, I think, according to Google.
On the previous day, I believe. Though.
Oh yeah, that's probably true.
Because you guys are a day behind. Because right now it's Friday for me.
Okay. Yeah, so it's Thursday. So that'll be Monday, 1 p.m.
Coming to you from the future.
Monday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, Llama and Jim. Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate everything. Hey guys, I'm gonna call it there.